there's actually so much going on in the NBA. This is getting ridiculous. I thought I could come back here and do this once a week where I talk about some games I like, some players that I'm watching, some teams that are interesting. But no, everybody just got to be doing everything all the goddamn time. But we'll hoop. We're hooping. Okay, I had before we even get all there, what's up, y'all? It's your host, Inquires. You're watching Kinda No Ball. All right. So before I even wanted to really get on this topics, I was going to talk about a whole other team, a couple other divisions, a whole couple playing styles that I've been truly enjoying. But Jalen Johnson, you've been hoping. There's a game just yesterday. He goes and puts up one of them stat lines you don't see too frequently from a young player. Honestly, in all players. Can we just talk about how everybody is just hooping their heart out? I don't know if this is just like early season jitters, but every single team has a 30-point scorer, and every other team has a guy that just happens to be fantastic. The OKC Thunder has a guy that's coming off the bench that's giving them 20 points, second rounder. Nobody knows who he was until literally today. AJ Mitchell, you hooping, but let's just talk about Atlanta Hawks right now. So Trae Young just got I think he's hurt. He just recently got hurt. I don't know how serious the injury is, but that's not the point right now. But Jalen Johnson, you were hoping you want to put up one of them stat lines. One of them stat lines for sure. Let's start off with, bro. You know when a guy just unlocks his whole teammates, he unlocks his playing style. He's able to set teams up to be making mistakes. He's setting up his own players to be fantastic. He's having you know what I like to call it the Jokic problem, where once you know you got a guy that can get you the ball, all the extra work feels like it will pay off, and your teammates are like, well, I will go the extra mile because I know a guy that will actually get me the ball. So Jalen Johnson, they move him up to the 1. And honestly, I have always been anti let this big guy go play this little guy position, because there tends to be there tends to be this focus on the fact that they are big, but the lack of skill and gamemanship that actually comes from being able to play the 1. Because when you are the 1, you are so integral to the game. You are so important for your other teammates that are more likely than not play finishers, not play initiators. And that's one thing people got to really sit back and understand, because we were spoiled with a guy like Ben Simmons. We were spoiled with a guy like Magic Johnson. A lot of the times when you make that 3 a 1, that's how we kind of get some of the problems that we're having right now with the Mavericks, with with Cooper Flag, where they're trying to make him be the designated point guard, where it's like they aren't really reading the game at the speed that needs to be played at, to be understanding that it's like, hey, your job as the 1 is to make sure everybody is hooping. But Jalen, you played fantastic. There's one thing to be able to be a good facilitator, but it's another thing to be able to open up the court for your other players. It's one thing to be able to pass when you're passing players open, because I could always just hit that easy corner, take a step, bounce pass. I could always hit those. But if I'm able to, I have to mentally be able to picture what's going on. I'm going to drive left, and I'm going to be looking at the corner to be able to fake off the guy that's supposed to be sliding on the right hand of the court, so I can be able to look and hit the guy in the other corner. It takes a lot to be able to be a 1. And he was able to play through that and still be aggressive and still hit his shots. I know it's just one game, but once you're really in that mode, you could just really start to pushing it. And that's why I wanted to emphasize why people thought this team was going to be so good coming into the season, because it's like, okay, if I have a lot of guys, let me explain it like this. Before the season started, I tried to put up a couple blueprints for a couple teams to be able to succeed in these late 2020s ball that we watching, right? Because if you want to be great, you're going to have a lot of long, lengthy, switchable players to be able to not just set guys up, but just make the right play. You need as many Derek Whites as possible. You need a lot of guys that's like, I could average. You need a lot of guys that can be guards, that are guards, but also know I need to get in where I fit in, i.e. the Indiana Pacers, the Boston Celtics of last year, and a team like the OKC Thunder, where it's like I have a lot of guys with so much high IQ, but also knowing if I need to show out, I can. I have the ability to, and I am willing to do a little bit more to be able to set up everyone to be able to be successful. Because being a point guard, there's a couple more things that you need to be able to mentally be able to picture. Actually, no. Let's go back to them. So having as many Derek White, I can play the 1, I could play the 2, I could be a wing, I can be a guard. I just know what's going on up here to be able to facilitate the game. Because the reason why I keep bringing up a guy like Derek White, if you were to put Derek White on his own team, he has the skill and the baseline talent to average 25 if you wanted him to be the lead ball scorer, ball pressure, that type of player. But he knows we're not going to win if I'm doing that. So if I'm able to put that type of skill and be able to put that on the back burner where I'm just playing off of not just instinct, but knowing that's like, okay, I need to make the right play because it'll open it up for everybody. Because at the base of what we're trying to get to is as many easy shots as possible. And that's why I was really liking Jalen Johnson's game. That's why I honestly like the whole Atlanta Hawks team to begin with, because if they have a lot of guys that can play the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and they could be so usable in so many different parts of the court. Like, I haven't even mentioned Richard, the number 1 pick. I haven't even talked about, bro. But that's one of the things I like to emphasize, because of you can build on to that. And on the next point, Trae Young has to come back eventually. If y'all like it or not, he's coming back on this team, and y'all better not trade him. I don't need y'all to talk about let's move on from the guy, because of, hey, to give up a guy that can average 28-10 on a bad day, please take a breather. That's not what y'all want to be doing right now, because you guys don't have the firepower to be wasteful. And honestly, that's why I love my guy Trae Young, because of being a point guard is so difficult. And being a point guard that's able to play in the pick and roll and also be able to play off ball, it might not be his strong suit, but he still be able to not be so ball dominant and still be effective on the court is important, because you don't got many guys that can do that. Where you can get a guy like Harden that, like, every time he has the ball in his hand, something good will come out of it. If it's not a facilitation, if it's not a bucket, if it's not a pass to the corner. But if they don't got the ball, they just want to stand there like, when the ball comes back to me, I'll start playing again. And even with people that emphasize the fact that Trae Young doesn't have the defensive chops like a Drew Holiday or a Derek White or who's another point guard? Darius Garland sucks on defense too. But that's not we're getting way too past ourselves. We're getting way past ourselves. But I just wanted to come out and give some like to a guy, Jalen Johnson. Fantastic game. Next, Lakers. What we doing, gang? What's going on? Are we actually gonna try and win it all this year? What's y'all plan? Because I'm getting a little giddy right now. We've been on a little free fall. I think we're like 5th seed right now. Yoke and them started locking the fuck in. What's his face? OKC feels like they're better than they were last year, which is, like, me personally, I thought that was impossible. I didn't think SGA could get any better than that, but that's we passed all that. Who else cooking? The Rockets at Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It's funny being right, because I could have pictured this exactly the way it is. Thunder is 1, Nuggets is 2, Spurs is 3, Rockets is 4, Lakers 5, Timberwolves 6, Suns 7, Trailblazers 8, Warriors 9, Jazz 10. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. If I could do a couple things to, like, just shake this up a couple instances, the Trailblazers, y'all can go ahead and just drop down. Let the Warriors play, and I'd love to see that 8. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry, Trailblazers. I'm sorry, but hey, let's talk about the Lakers. Let's talk about the Lakers. The Lakers are 8-4 right now. They just had a really bad game against the OKC Thunder, which honestly I don't want to give too many hits on, because of, like, They look like they want to go back to back. Jalen Williams J-Dub hasn't touched the court, and they're 12-1. Greedy, beyond the points. I'm watching this Lakers team, and they're able to do all this winning. They're able to play all together. Luka and Austin Reeves are ready to kiss each other. And LeBron hasn't touched the court yet. And let's talk about Luka real quick. Luka been hooping. I'm not gonna lie. I thought this skinny Luka trend that they were trying to push out, I knew he was gonna come back better. I knew he was gonna come back conditioned, but he's moving and he's playing. And it feels like he's systematically, strategically putting in his rest days to be able to like work with everybody else. And honestly, take as much rest as you need, because it feels like they might not even need you. Because we watching Austin Rivers turn into a star. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those first people that when they said that Austin Reeves was the best third option in the league, I was trying to throw some tomatoes. But hey, Austin Reeves has been. There's something about watching an undrafted guy just cook, folks. It feels good here. It feels good like deep down here, because of like they've been through a lot. Austin Reeves has seen a lot of hoops. He has been conditioned to try and reach for that greatness, but they're not going. He's been able to grow with Bron. And now that he's been able to be the lead scorer or the number 2 scorer, it feels like when Bron comes back, he could stay at the speed he is, because he's not being greedy with the ball. And honestly, he's being super clutch with the ball. Bro, he would have cooked our team like twice now. We're only like 18, we're 10 games in, 20 games in, and he's already cooked my team twice. It's greedy. And I'm honestly just loving the way that he's able to like feed off as the number 2 guy, because when you are the number 2 and the number 1, you have a lot of pressure that's put on you, especially when the rest of your roster doesn't have that many guards that are too usable on the offensive side. Because I remember earlier in the year, I was talking about Marcus Smart, how he wasn't really there anymore. I'll just put it like this: Marcus Smart, I'll put him in the same category of like the Rudy Goberts, the Draymond Greens of the world, where they're able to be super impactful without the stat line being able to be, I want to draft you on fantasy. Let's just put it nicely like that. So like talking about like even earlier in the season, game like 1 through like 6, if the ball wasn't in Luka's hands, if the ball was in Austin Reeves' hands, you're like, well, shoot it. You want a tween cross step back? Do it. I don't believe in you. You're not like that. I know you're not like that. So why are we even pretending like you're like that? So the fact that he's been able to get all this extra pressure and still be able to show out and get these buckets, I like it. What are you gonna do? What are you playing with? What are we supposed to do? But let's talk about Luka. Oh, I'm very, very interested to see if he goes on to win MVP this year, because of it needs to happen eventually. And ever since leaving the Mavericks, he's had this chip on his shoulder, but it's not any ordinary chip on his shoulder, because of once you've set the bar as high as you have for his base level of play. Because keep in mind, he's been like what, I think he's like a 27, 28 point scorer since his second year in the league, and his rookie year, I'm pretty sure he averaged like 22 to 24. So he knows how to get the bucket. He's been famously been quoted like, oh no, this offense over here is sweet. It's rotisserie chicken over here. I don't got nothing to tell y'all about nothing. Y'all can't see me. And watching him work on not only his post game, but being able to, one thing that I'm more impressed by is his ability to be useful on the defensive end, because for the longest time, his defense has been something that people have been able to target the whole year. And the fact that he's able to like slim down, he's been able to be more usable in pick and rolls, in being able to track where players are going, being able to pick up charges, being able to step, being able to be in the right place. Might not have the athleticism to truly contest it, but he is at least showing improvements. And honestly, shouts out to you, JJ Redick. I don't know what serum you putting in these boys, but them boys is boys, and I'm not gonna hold you. I'm liking the way that this team is set up. What's his face? DeAndre Ayton. I think he's at 17-10 already, and bro had 3 bad games, and all of LA was like, all right, buddy, if you don't lock you, we gonna lock you up. Let's really be serious. And honestly, I'm messing with it. I'm messing with it because one thing about knowing that this might be your last contract really lights a fire under you. And I like the way you've been moving. Keep hooping, my boy. You doing a fantastic job. Honestly, he's hooping like he was hooping at the Suns trying to get a ring, and all I can say is, like, I feel like that proud daddy that's just watching your boy cook them boys. So he's like, yeah, I knew I always had some ups for you. I felt like you was gonna be like that, but he was doing it. And honestly, having Luka and DeAndre Ayton on the same team, first and third pick of the 2018 draft. Honestly, I think that's why I like the way the NBA has been going when it comes to these like trades and moving on from players like quickly. There is some downsides, but then you could just see like not matchups. You could just see like pictures of teammates. That's like, oh, that's just interesting to see in the grand scheme of watching the NBA, because it's like I remember back in the I don't want to say back in the 90s, but early 2000s and 90s, like rewatching the games, and you're like, well, you didn't have that many great players because everybody stayed where there wasn't any true not just factors, but there wasn't really anything pushing teammates to go anywhere else because the money wasn't going to be better, the lifestyle wasn't going to be that much better, but it's like, hey, come here now. And I was like, hey, I could go work with bro. I'm cool with bro. Let's go do that. And I like that. And Nico Harris fired. They fired. They fired that man badly, honestly, and I can't even blame him, because like we watching the Mavs, and it's not even that the Mavs are bad. It's like everything just went wrong, guys. That's all I can say. And the higher ups definitely needed somebody to throw under that bus, and that's what you get paid. What is it, like $4-5 million or some shit like that? But that's beyond the points. And not even to mention the NBA business side of it is always interesting, because you don't recognize how much is behind the reasoning for a lot of these higher ups to do the moves that they do. They're just trying to make the numbers look better on the court. They just want the numbers to look better. So being forced to trade and share and do all these things, but having the fall guy be a guy like Nico Harris, it hurts, but that's your job. And honestly, if AD wasn't hurt, he'd probably still be the guy. I'm not gonna lie. And honestly, the injuries has been such a forgotten conclusion for this team that it's like there is nothing you could do. You can't plan for AD to go down. I mean, you kind of can, but that's not the point. You can't plan for AD, Kyrie, Clay looks a little injured. Fuck, what's his face? D'Angelo Russell not hitting his threes. Cooper Flag is just getting punched in the mouth anytime he gets on the court. So it's like there's not really much that you could do to win these games. And in this NBA, it feels like everybody's trying to win. And it's getting to the point where the only team that you could get on the court and be like, they are going to lose this game, is the Pelicans. Pelicans, Wizards. Everybody else is actually trying to win games. So it's tough. You got the Sacramento Kings trying to win games. Bro, shouts out my guy, Russ. Russ, you're still my favorite player. And honestly, just keep doing what you can, bro. Because of you, they try to make him seem like he was booty butt cheeks. And Russ is russing. He's hooping. Is it as efficient as we might want it? No. But is he scoring? Is he rebounding? Is he assisting? He's doing his best off the bench, on the court. Anywhere he is hooping. But that's not beyond the points. Beyond the point. I'm sitting here and I'm watching the way that they treating that man. The fire Nico chats when Cooper Flag is going up to shoot his free throws, which is like, come on, bro, that's your guy. Y'all got Cooper. Leave it alone. He's 18. What else do y'all want? He's going to be good for the next. Y'all could have him for a decade and he's only 28. Fuck is we talking about? What are we talking about? But I will say, y'all better be super glad and excited the fact that y'all still got a guy like that. Y'all got Cooper on y'all team, because he is the exact type of guy that you are looking to have on your team, where it's like big player, 6'9", 6'10", aggressive, 6'9", aggressive, has the correct mechanics to be a shooter, can see the game in a very heavy basketball IQ way where he's able to predict what's going on. They're already trying to show him what can you do as the one. So when he's able to put everything together, and honestly he will in 2 years, because keep in mind, he's still able to go out and fearlessly put up 10, 15-ish points. Y'all got a stud on y'all squad. You just got to eat it. You just got to eat it. The Detroit Pistons. Wow. Detroit Pistons, man. Man, y'all doing something over there, man. Y'all hooping. I like y'all. As of this moment, they are the number 1 seed, 10-2, 8-game winning streak. Y'all are hooping. Y'all are doing what y'all needed to do. Wow, I'm so proud of y'all, man. Bro, there's a lot of players on this squad that I just look at them and be like, man, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And honestly, hold on, is Ivy back yet? I don't even think Jaden Ivey's played yet. Oh my, Jaden Ivey hasn't played yet. Wow. One of the only things that the Detroit Pistons are missing out right now is having a two-way slasher that's able to get buckets, because they've been trying to get Devin Booker for the past 2 years now, ever since the 16 wins in 2023, 24, something like that. And they still don't have Ivy. They were going to go get Jay. They were trying to get D Book. They still haven't seen Ivy. We are hoping. We're the first seed. Asar looks good. Cade looked fantastic. He's cleaning up some of the point guard woes that actually he's been able to play through so much hardship. He's been able to not pick up so many bad habits on this team because of when you enter a franchise that doesn't know what they're doing, they aren't surrounding you with the right guys. Everyone's a little bit too young to be able to grasp what's going on in the league. You're being set up with coaches that are kind of early in their coaching careers. It is super easy to go through a season having 13-game losing streaks. The league is making fun of you. Other NBA players is talking stuff about you. Folks are talking about don't be the team that loses to Detroit Pistons every single game. And now look at y'all. Number 1 seed. Y'all are hooping. But I like to say, shouts out Cade, though. Shouts out Cade, because he's been improving in so many spots. I was going to make this video earlier, but this is on the back of him putting up, I think, 45? Hold on, let me. Yeah, this is back of the 45, 11, and 12 game where he shot. Kobe would be very proud. He shot 14 of 45 against the Wizards. I will say the Wizards suck, but that's neither here nor there. But I will say the fact that you're able to stay calm and keep going and keep attacking and keep taking these shots, I will say that is something that I can be definitely impressed with. Because when you get a lot of players, after a couple shots, they're like, I don't really trust it. I don't know if I can be able to continue. And he's been like, you know what? No. We gonna win this game. We gonna win this game. And that's a very interesting conversation to have, because it's like, at what point is having that mindset detrimental? But I will say, this seems more like a bleep. Yeah, this seems more like a bleep in the graph more than his true consistent play style and what he enjoys doing and what he tries to do when he is on the court. Because you do have players that are shot chuckers, because when you are trying to figure out the importance of a player on a contending team, if you're trying to be a scorer, you got to be able to figure out the idea between volume and consistency and efficiency. Because if I cannot count on you to be able to get that many shots up in a game, I cannot game plan around my player being able to get those. I can't game plan for that because I know that you don't have either the cardio or the confidence or the skill level to get open that many times before you're trying to get a shot, because people be forgetting how difficult it is to be a scorer, because if it's beyond just the shot making ability. Because if you got the skill to be like tween cross, sidestep, you can do that all you want, but if you don't got the energy to do all that, it kind of falls on deaf ears, because it's like, well, you can't even get those shots up to begin with. And when you are trying to get those shots up, it's easier to be able to guard a team that has one player trying to go for 30 than a guy that's like, actually, let me rephrase that. It's far easier to guard a guy that's like, or it's far easier to guard a team where they're set up where it's like, hey, there's this one guy that's going to be responsible for 40 to 58 points, compared to a team that their setup was like, no, you're going to get 15 from here, you can get 20 from here, our second leading scorer, and then you're going to get a 30 ball from our lead scorer, because of he's just able to play within the system and still step back enough for everybody else to be able to still lock in and give you production. And that's what we really got to figure out on the squad, because it's like, where else is all your buckets coming from? I will say where some of the mighty fine defenses, though. Darren, you hooping. I'm liking what I'm seeing from you, Darren. You're hooping, man. You're hooping. I will say, I don't know if we have a new contender for one of the strongest players in the league, but I will say, watching him run up and down the court and be able to position himself as an alley-oop threat and being able to play within the system and not call for the ball like too much, I'm saying, yeah, you doing God's work right there. I'll say you're doing God's work. There was a little skirmish between Jalen Duren and Asar where they was yelling at each other. But honestly, that's what you like to see. I love it when my top 2 of 3 guys are going at each other's neck and they're still able to reconcile and give each other a little hug, a little pat on the back, because we need to be able to disagree and still come together and hoop. Because honestly, one of the things I've always hated while watching the game, it feels like folks don't got the gall to cuss each other out when they need to. Because it's like, you watching your guy and they just hooping, and you could tell in their heart they just got a selfish way about the way they get into these lanes and these buckets and be able to like setting up guys. And it's like, hey, come on, man. This is a team sport. It can't just all be you. And I will say one more thing on this Jalen and Asar stuff. I will say those two might be the most athletic folks I've seen on one team in a long time. One more thing, I will say the Thompson twins are the most athletic humans I've ever seen. Move aside, Vince and McGrady. Come on, Thompson brothers, because they are athletic. I was watching some of their is it high school or is it over? But honestly, both. It was different times apart, but beyond the point. Watching some of the highlights from overtime and some of their high school stuff. Yeah. It always felt like every play that they would do, anytime they would like turn on their athleticism, it'd be like step, head to the rim. All right, let me do my move. Dunk it. Step. I'm already there. Dunk it. I was watching these. This was before they went over to overtime, and they were playing against guys, and you could see how they were just like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care, bro. Go. I'm giving you this layup. Step. Throw that mug off the backboard. Step. Grab it out the rim. It kind of reminds me when I be running at like some open gyms, right? And you playing against the guy, he's cooking everybody. Like he just got the skill set, he got the footwork, he's just killing everybody. But not me. Not me at all. It gets to the point where it's like, I mean, you could do whatever it is that you want, but I'm athletic enough that if you beat me off the dribble, I can still get there. I will get there first. My second step is faster than your first step. There ain't nothing you could do about this. I'm cleaning it. There's nothing you want. I'm sorry. I'm cleaning it. But as you watch it, oh, but that reminds me. I feel like that's one of the rules that I feel like more trainers should be able to teach their youngins or people that they be coaching, because there should be more of an emphasis on the athleticism aspect of the game than more so than the skill. Because of at the base level, you could have all the tweens and crosses and side steps and the up and under and all that stuff. But if you're just physically just not as athletic, you can't jump as high, you're not as fast, twitchy, you're not able to recover, then you're not able to shift, you're not able to have the footwork necessary to get off of the ground before the other person, there's not much you can do. If when they're driving through the lane, they just bump you off the court and one, they ain't really. You could talk about trying to have this high basketball IQ and be able to do all this and this and this, but if you don't got the physical ability to be able to like get where you need to be, you're cooked. Boom! There's nothing you can do about it. There ain't nothing you can do about it. Having the Grizzlies prepared to trade Ja Morant makes me want to shed a little tear. I'm not gonna lie to you. Man, because just the memorable moments, man, the throw that mug, or there's a parade in my city, or waving that mug around. I'm going to miss the antics. I'm going to miss it. And it feels like the Grizzlies, y'all might need to really, really think twice before y'all keep trying to sully the relationship that you got with your superstar. Because you're not getting another one. You got really lucky. Oh, because honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's one of the push and pulls that come with being a small market, because of the expectation that you're gonna have another guy like Ja Morant is obscene. The expectation that your number two is going to be able to pan out the way that a Ja Morant did, and I'm not just talking about the skill level. I'm talking about the charisma, the marketability, the ability to be able to get the whole city of Memphis to be like, oh yeah, I like you. Let's do this mug. Let's tee it up. Let's you feel me? Let's get a little active. Let's come out to the games. Have these superstars showing up to support the great city of Memphis. And now folks are having conversations of, and honestly, I think that might be that was their whole play. I think that's the grand scheme play of this all. They're trying to trade Ja Morant so they could send their whole team to Tennessee to get them to Nashville. They're trying to move the Memphis Grizzlies to Nashville. And I cannot stand by it. It hurts my soul. I feel like we're going to be missing out on such historic greatness by moving it from a city that needs it. Oh, but beyond the point, let's talk hoops. Watching this Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant play out, it feels like the Mavericks and Luka Doncic trade. And it feels so infuriating because it feels like they're trying to throw somebody under the bus, and it's Ja. You don't throw your superstar off the bus. You don't throw him under the bus. Why are you not backing your guy? And I understand you're trying to get him to bend the knee and you're trying to have your organization move on into a different direction, but it's like, do you think that's going to work? And do you think that y'all are going to be able to replicate the thing that you're trying to do? And it's like, I get it. The whole operation has run its course. There's not much winning that could be really done in this organization anymore. And you're trying to have their superstars either get on board or get the fuck on. But I feel like this is going to backfire like it did in the Mavericks. And that's frustrating. That's frustrating. Because of the whole idea, they're trying to change the whole offensive scheme that the Memphis Grizzlies has been running for a pretty long time. And it's like, I get it. It feels like they're actively trying to tank the stock of Ja Morant because they're being like, well, his numbers are down, his efficiency is down, he doesn't look as explosive, he's just not fitting in what we're trying to do, and it feels like moving on is just the correct thing to do. And it's like y'all are actively ruining this man's career, because it's like, guess what? They're turning down the frequency of not only the pick and rolls, we could talk about that in a bit, but they're actively not playing him with Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr. So you're not pairing him up with his lob threats with his pick and roll guy, with the second best player on the team. You have gutted this roster, and what do you expect them to do? You traded Desmond Baines, so there's no more shooting. What do we expect? What do we expect? And now you're watching how it's playing out, where, well, it doesn't make sense to run pick and rolls anymore in this league. But it's like you're not setting them up to be able to run those set pick and rolls, because one of their main ideas they're trying to do, they're trying to remove all the pick and rolls, be able to focus more on this free flowing 5 outs, not trying to run any too complex schemes. And it's like, I get it, because the idea seems to be, well, if we run pick and rolls, we're switching off the defender to put him onto another defender. Like there's so many teams where they have gotten so good and so switchy that you don't get an offensive advantage from switching on from a SGA to try and switch to J-Dub, Alex Caruso, and then you could switch him to Chet. There's so many teams that you could do that with, where it's like, well, the league has just moved away from using the slashing point guards or the little short king. What is it? The short kingpin or something like that. Beyond the point. I don't know the saying, but that's beyond the point. You go, and that position is honestly like dying out crazy, and it's making me so sad, because it's like I miss IT, man. I miss the what's his name? I miss the John Walls of the world, man. I'm missing the Chris Pauls of the world, man. It's getting bad. It's getting bad that if you're under the height of 6'5", you can't even be a 1 anymore. They're like, yeah, bro, you can't shoot threes at an obscene clip. You're not the best facilitator on this Western Hemisphere. I can't use you. I'm so sorry. But that's so darn embarrassing watching the way that this is playing out. But one thing I will say, I don't know if they have their draft picks, but hoping that they're able to actually hit on the next guy that they're able to get in the draft is going to be like really big for them. And especially due to the fact that this is actually a good draft class, where it's like, I understand if this is the year that you want to tank, then let's really tank. That's just one of my main things that I've always hated, where teams would actually go out their way to like half tank, because I was like, what's the point of trying to get the 8th pick? What are we doing? The 14th pick? Whoop-de-doo. If we're gonna tank. Let Jaren Jackson go. Trade him to Minnesota. Folks are talking about John Morant to Minnesota Timberwolves. Give me Triple J. We'll give you Rudy. Give us, no. Give us Triple J and John Morant. We'll give you Rudy and Nas. Oh, I like Nas. Rudy and Nas, straight up. We'll give you the rest of our picks. Straight up. What we talking about? Nah, I'm not bullshit. I like Reed. Oh, but hopefully they're able to figure this out, because of this would go bad in so many ways. And I just hope that John Morant's able to be traded to us, the Minnesota Timberwolves. But I'm having a feeling that they're going to send him to this next team I want to talk about real quick, the Miami Heat. Are the Miami Heat real? Because I'm curious. And what do you do when you haven't had a good point guard since LeBron James? You run what Eric Spoelstra is doing right now. You figure out you figure out the way that you can anchor your offensive roster and load around your star big man. Try and pull a Nikola Jokic, if you will. And honestly, the movement that I'm seeing, because keep in mind, they're trying to do the exact same thing that the Grizzlies are doing, but they actually have not just the personnel, but they have the culture to be able to set something like that up. Because that is a very, very big axe that you're trying to give right now. Because it's like, well, I know that you guys have this way of playing, but when you're on the Heat roster, you will play the way that they want you to play. And that's just it, because you have the pedigree. You have the players that are going to fall in line. And honestly, they've been able to making so much ice cream out of pudding for the past 10 years. Because keep in mind, they were able to drag this Jimmy Butler-led squad with a bunch of undrafted and rookie. Jimmy Butler went to the finals with his lead guard being Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero was his lead offensive threat besides himself, and he went to the finals twice. In 4 years, this team has been through a lot. And honestly, they're doing the same thing where they're emphasizing the free-flowing offense aspect of it and being able to just pass and go and being decisive and being instinctual is really big. Because you had, you had Bam Adebayo going out his way to be like, yeah, no, we don't run plays anymore. We're able to have so much high level and high IQ players where it's like, well, you know what we've been practicing. You know where you need to go. You need to be able to read and react. If you're going to get the ball, you have 3 options. Shoot, dribble right, dribble left, pass. Do whatever you want with that information, but you got to do whatever those 3 and quickly. And let's speak about Bam's jump so far. Bam, you've been hooping, bro. I'm really appreciative watching a guy like you do your thing, because I always felt that Bam Adebayo is literally just Draymond Green for the longest. And when you get a player like Draymond Green, you know that there is a ceiling to the offensive viability that you could use with a guy like that doesn't have too much offensive upside, but they have a loads of defensive, not just chops, but the IQ to be able to set it up for everybody to start eating off your defensive everyone just starts eating off your defensive skills, because it's like, well, it's infectious. You have Jaime Jaquez looking like a great 3-and-D wing because he knows the rules. He knows where y'all are going to be. He knows that he can count on y'all to be a specific place because it's all being anchored by this man, Bam Adebayo, in the middle. And let me just ask you a couple of things. Did you ever think that Bam will start shooting threes? Because I've been asking for Bam to start shooting threes for a while. I've been looking at Bam like, you know, you gotta get with this new age of basketball. Just fall in love. You saw your girl, you saw your wife hooping. You saw your wifey beat up to shoot threes. You go shoot some threes. You gotta get in that gym and that's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta heat up, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. And you know what? They hooping in a way that's like, man, I was talking about, let's just go ahead and trade Bam for the longest. But he's shown me that he's been able to love and be able to succeed in this Heat culture in a way that most guys, just especially young guys, aren't able to really grasp. Because being able to sit in this system and be like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to mentally be here. I want to be here. Because I was reading some articles about some of their conditioning. Hold on, let me read off some of the nonsense that they have to do as a team. So conditioning tests, right? Players line up in 3 groups based on position. Guards and wings get 1 minute to run 10 lengths of the court, or 940 feet. The big men get 62 seconds to complete the same distance. And at the end of the drill, each player will run 50 lengths of the court, or a little under 0.9 miles. Each player will have covered that distance at 5 minutes. Most are running under 6-minute miles. What are we talking about? And one of my favorite parts of every single NBA offseason is watching the before and after pics of the Miami Heat players anytime that they enter in. It seems like they enter in just obese, out of shape, body sweating, full of salt. And then when they leave training camp, they're like, yeah, I'm the sexy Dexy that y'all could ever sexy Dexy. And honestly, it feels like everybody that's ever played on the Miami Heat has that exact same reaction, where it's like, bro, I got abs on my abs. I never thought I'd look this good ever. It feels like when it feels like when you got that young dude that's entering college, who's one of the best players in his state, one of the best players, like upper top 10 in the nation, and they go onto a college level meal plan and they body just grown man strength. But now you do it for the grown of the grown man. It's crazy. LeBron did it, Dwight did it, Chris Bosh, who Norris Cole, Jimmy Butler for some reason. Honestly, Jimmy Butler was just swole all year long, but that's a whole other. Udonis head. Oh my! They was talking about Udonis Haslem also has to do the trading because guess what? You are not above the program. If you're LeBron, if you're not you could be LeBron. You could have you. Wow, I could have. You could be LeBron. You could be Haslem. You could be. Who's another random player? Oh, you could be Birdman. You all gonna do that running. You gonna get up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. You gonna get them abs by force. And honestly, that's been the main thing about this Miami Heat roster because they're like, you know what? We might not got the upper ed talent, but we will be athletic. Our one through our 12th man on the bench, you will all be the most athletic bug on the court if you like it or not. Because guess what? They might have superstars on max contracts, but we have grit and abs on our calves. That's all we got to give y'all. All right, to wrap this up, the Chicago Bulls, I was going to talk about this earlier when you guys were going on y'all run, but yeah, Giddey went and got crossed out his feet, and now we're here. But I will say, Giddey, you are proving them wrong. You are hooping. You're getting to the point where your facilitating is getting so irresistible and consistent that we're seeing some Trae Young numbers. We're seeing some Trae Young sides of you, and I like that because of when they traded you from OKC. I always knew it was going to happen because it was getting pretty redundant with you and a guy like SGA on the same court. And since you weren't as athletic as SGA, let's just go ahead and give the MVP to the team. Let's go and find you a whole nother one. But the fact that you've been able to bounce back and be able to set up your teammates and yourself for some greatness. So let's hurry up and fix your ankle. Did they really break your ankle? That's crazy, but that's beyond the point. Well, thank you all for clicking on this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. This is like Kind of Ball, where we rant about some ball. Peace.